Hello to y'all, this is The Leap. This is my weekly video that I do in regards to this channel, talking about health, fitness, vegan lifestyle, whatnot. And today I'm going to kind of, add a little to what I've been writing about in my blog this past week or so, which is one thing I always like to talk about is men's health. And one thing that's been kind of pointed out lately due to a little challenge I'm doing is suicide. Now, of course, I'm doing that 22 push-up a day for 22 days. It's this whole thing, this viral thing to honor veterans and whatnot. And anyway, there's some dispute as to how many veterans actually, commit suicide a day. So I'm not going to really focus on that. But I'm going to focus on the idea that of the suicides that do happen, regardless of whatever the actual number is, it was estimated that 97% of the men, or 97% of the people were men, and that's actually a little bit higher than actual societal standards. About 80 to 85% of all suicides in our country are committed by men, and people sometimes wonder why. I mean, all these terms like male privilege and whatnot are thrown around, and it's great to be a guy, nobody ever judges you. Well, I'm here to call bullshit on that kind of thinking. That's just stupidity. I mean, there's a lot of anxieties and issues within men. The problem is, most of the time we're not allowed to talk about it. We have to fucking man up. We got to stop being a mangina, or what's another good one? We got to grow a sack. And I think this mentality is kind of toxic within much of our society, mainly because, men do have feelings. Men do have anxieties. We do have misgivings about ourselves, about our bodies, about our money, about everything in life. And I can tell you from personal experience that I've had a lot of particular issues in my life, and much of the time I never said anything about it. And what I used to do is I just ate a ton of food. If I had enough money, I'd get some beer. If I had enough money still, I'd get a 1-pound bag of Skittles or a 1-pound bag of Starburst. I'd eat all that in one sitting usually. And the coma I fell into usually after eating all that sugar and crap and fat, I'd wake up, feel a little better. If I still needed another boost, I'd eat some more. And that was kind of my life for about 7 years straight. I had an eating problem for about 13. I just didn't really know it for the other 6. There was a 7-year stretch where I really gained my weight. And anyway, I'm not like most men. I'll talk about my feelings and whatnot, but this is something that it's the exception, not the rule. And I just think that there's 2 issues we really need to focus on. First of all, we need to provide better health care for veterans and for people in general. I mean, it's just one thing that has really kind of happened is just people have no one to talk to anymore. And especially for men, it's a little more difficult because we're expected to be tough, and we're expected to be alpha as fuck. And to me, that's just a toxic mentality. And so, you hear some people say, it's okay to be vulnerable, but then again, the examples in the media, the people that they always harp about, always love, they're not vulnerable. I mean, they're these stereotypical versions of toughness, of manliness. So what does that really tell you? Anyway, I think I'll always keep spouting off my opinion about the American healthcare system in regards that they need unhealthy men to keep the system rolling. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of true. And unfortunately, some men never even reach the point of having to get testosterone therapy or rely heavily on pills or have a multitude of surgeries. I mean, unfortunately, some men decide to take their lives, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, even though we're becoming more centered in terms of gender roles and whatnot, much of society still expects men to be the breadwinner, to be, to be the tough guy. But now we're expected to be vulnerable. We're expected to be, giving and whatnot. Some guys just can't handle that. They'll never handle it. And then some guys will have issues with trying to balance all of that. And it's certainly a problem that can be fixed, but we just choose not to fix it. In regards to mental health care, cutting. I mean, one thing I always talk about in terms of gun control is I don't think more statutes and more limitations will help. I think you just need to close maybe the gun show loophole and then maybe provide better mental health, because that's really the center of just about every issue with men. Is we feel trapped. We feel like we can't express ourselves in a lot of ways, and those who do express themselves are oftentimes chided. And I'm sometimes chided about it too, because I'm very expressive about how I feel, and unfortunately, sometimes people give you hell for it. But on the other hand, you don't see me with these feelings of being trapped, being hurt, and all of a sudden I feel like I want to go shoot up a shopping mall or a church. So who's really the man in that case? And I think that's really one reason why so many men are discontent and they're so angst ridden, is all we're really taught is to be tough. And when you have only one spectrum of thought to really think, you have love and you have hate, and you can't really find what's in the middle, which is right here and right here. You just think of love and hate, and eventually you start thinking some dark thoughts, because if there's only one extreme on either side, you're not going to be thinking about your consequences and what else happens. And that's why we have all these men out there shooting up places, mostly men, I should say. I mean, there's an occasional woman that does it, but it's mostly men, doing this because they just don't know how to handle it. They've never been expected to handle it. They've never been taught how to handle it. And worst of all, media, even to this day, still portrays, these vulnerable, regular men as a bunch of fucking losers. I mean, why would you want to be one of those guys? You're not getting the pussy, you're not getting the bitches, you're not getting the promotion. I mean, you got a whole subculture of feminists out there saying nice guys. If you call yourself a nice guy, you're worse than the worst people out there. And then you got all these dudes who call themselves manlists. They make fun of you too. So in reality, our society is kind of tailored men to believe that vulnerability and being yourself and not always being this alpha fucking male is bad. It's horrible. It's fate worse than death. So in reality, this is just something I feel, of course, that I just think we kind of need to try to chip away at this toxic masculinity. Now, of course, we can't just be, whiny little bitches all the time, but I mean, you can't just walk around with just, living in two extremes your whole life, love and hate. I mean, that was always the greatest thing about, that movie Donnie Darko, which ironically I actually have a movie poster for right here. Donnie basically said this: there's more, life just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work in those two extremes. There's more to it. And so I just think that in regards to the male psyche, we need to start learning how to handle that middle ground. And that's something I've been trying to figure out the last 4 years, because for me, I was just mired in hate all the time, because there's a certain self-loathing and a certain self-hatred. So I'm still kind of learning, as even after 4.5 years, I'm still trying to learn and figure out that middle ground. And I just think as a society we need to kind of encourage men to sort of go in that direction, because when you just live by extremes, you're going to do extreme things. And the most extreme thing you can do is because you just can't handle the setbacks that you eventually kill yourself. And that's just, you know, that's just sad in my opinion. There's more to life than just love and hate. You know, sometimes you can just rebuild. You can always rebuild. And yeah, that's just all I have to say on that. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel. Check out a couple of my Instagram account, my Twitter account, and read the blog at parsonspersonaltraining.com/blog. And I guess until next week, thank you.